Think buying expensive coffee is keeping you broke? Think again. The real financial killers are these 7 toxic purchases you're probably making right now, without even realizing it. Millennials are the most educated and connected generation in history. Yet, financially, they are falling behind faster than any generation before them. Despite all the hustle, side gigs, and endless sacrifices, most millennials are still trapped in a cycle of living paycheck to paycheck, buried in debt, stuck in rental cycles, and unable to build real wealth. But here's the brutal truth. It's not just about how much you earn. It's where your money goes that determines your financial future. There are 7 specific purchases that most millennials make without a second thought. Purchases disguised as normal or even smart. But these decisions are silently draining their wealth and keeping them locked in financial survival mode. In this video, we're going to expose each one of these traps. More importantly, you'll learn how to replace them with powerful money moves that the wealthy have been using for years. The list might surprise you. So, stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll see your finances and your future very differently. Many millennials fall into the same trap, spending money on things that make them look successful, rather than actually becoming successful. The worst part? Most people don't even realize they're doing it. Let's start with luxury clothes and new cars, 2 of the most common toxic purchases. New cars lose about 20–30% of their value the moment you drive them off the lot. And yet, millions of millennials are financing brand new vehicles, committing to years of high monthly payments for something that only loses value over time. The wealthy? They prefer slightly used cars that have already depreciated. The money they save? It goes straight into appreciating assets like stocks, real estate, or building their own businesses. Now, what about designer clothes and accessories? Many millennials chase status by buying luxury brands. Sure, it feels great to own expensive things, but the truth is, they offer zero financial return. They sit in your closet, unused most of the time, while your bank account bleeds away. The wealthy understand this. They invest in assets that grow over time, not temporary symbols of status. But here's the kicker. This illusion of status isn't just about what you buy, it's about why you're buying it. And the next toxic habit proves it even more. Another massive wealth killer for millennials is the lifestyle trap. It's all about trying to live a life that looks good on social media, even if it's financially disastrous behind the scenes. Take expensive apartments, for example. Renting high-end apartments in trendy neighborhoods feels like a status symbol. But here's the problem. Every dollar you pour into high rent is money that could have been invested and multiplied over time. Instead, it's gone forever, month after month, just to maintain an image. The wealthy often choose modest living conditions, investing the savings to build true financial freedom. It's not about looking rich, it's about becoming rich. Now let's talk about fancy gadgets and tech upgrades. This one is tricky because technology is so integrated into our daily lives. But constantly upgrading to the latest phones, laptops, or smart gadgets just to stay up to date is a huge financial mistake. Every unnecessary upgrade is money wasted. The rich understand this. They don't fall for marketing tactics designed to make you feel outdated and inferior. Instead, they upgrade only when it's truly needed and invest the savings in assets that actually grow. But here's the thing. The worst financial traps aren't just about wasting money. They're about being locked into ongoing financial burdens that are nearly impossible to escape from. And that's what we'll cover next. Now we enter the most suffocating part of the financial trap: debt. It doesn't just drain your wallet, it steals your future. Let's start with high-interest credit cards. On the surface, they seem harmless. Buy now, pay later. But what you're really doing is renting a lifestyle you can't afford, at 20% interest or more. That $500 purchase? If left unpaid, it could cost you double in just a few years. This isn't just about overspending, it's about compound interest working against you. While the wealthy use compound interest to grow investments, most millennials unknowingly let it grow their debt. Now, let's talk about a more socially accepted trap: overpriced college degrees. Many millennials were told that a degree, any degree, was the key to success. But no one warned them about student loans with poor ROI. Tens of thousands of dollars in debt for a degree that doesn't lead to high-paying opportunities can cripple your financial progress for decades. Here's what the wealthy are doing differently. They see education as an investment, not a checkbox. They evaluate the return before committing. More and more are choosing alternative paths like online certifications, trade schools, or even launching businesses instead of walking straight into student debt. Debt can feel like a life sentence, but it doesn't have to be. Because once you recognize how it traps you, you can start taking control. And speaking of control, the next toxic purchase might seem like a dream, but it's actually a golden cage. Some purchases feel like milestones, a dream vacation home, a wedding to remember. But behind the emotion lies a brutal truth. These big life moments can sabotage your financial future if you're not careful. Let's start with timeshares. They're often sold as an affordable way to vacation regularly, your own little slice of paradise. But what you're really signing up for is a lifetime of fees, restrictions, and near impossible resale. The upfront cost is just the beginning. Annual maintenance fees keep rising, and trying to get out of a timeshare? Nearly impossible. It's a financial trap masked as luxury. Now let's talk about expensive weddings. The average wedding today costs between $20,000 to $30,000, sometimes more. For one single day, couples go into debt to impress people they barely know, thinking it's a once-in-a-lifetime moment. But what they're really doing is starting married life with a financial handicap. The wealthy think differently. They understand that financial peace lasts longer than flower arrangements and photo booths. Many opt for smaller, meaningful ceremonies and invest the savings into a home, a business, or a joint investment account that builds wealth over time. And this is the pattern. What looks like luxury in the short term often leads to lifelong limitations. But now that you've seen all 7 toxic purchases, it's time to flip the script. In the final section, we're going to show you exactly how to escape the trap and start building real wealth. Now you know the truth. It's not about small daily expenses like coffee or cheap takeout. The real financial killers are those 7 toxic purchases that silently drain your wealth and keep you stuck in the rat race. Let's recap. 1. Luxury clothes and new cars. Depreciation disguised as status. 2. Expensive apartments and fancy gadgets. Traps of lifestyle inflation. 3. High-interest credit cards and overpriced degrees. Debt spirals that work against you. 4. Timeshares and expensive weddings. Big dreams with long-term financial pain. But here's the good news. It's not too late to turn things around. Wealthy people don't fall for these traps because they understand 2 key things: value and appreciation. They spend on things that grow over time, not things that fade away. So what should you do instead? Invest in assets that generate cash flow and appreciate over time. Avoid bad debt and eliminate high-interest liabilities as quickly as possible. Choose financial freedom over temporary luxury. Remember, it's not about living like you're broke. It's about choosing to be rich in the future. And the best time to start is right now. If you found this video helpful, you'll want to see what's next. Subscribe and click on this video to discover the 7-step financial blueprint to achieve freedom fast and why anyone can do this. Your financial freedom journey starts here.